Hello, our objective today is going to be the first part of graphing exponential functions based on their key features. Just a reminder, an exponential function, the most basic one, has an initial value or a y-intercept, and then it's multiplied by a multiplier, which we usually write like this. So the general function is a times b to the x. So in this case, it's pretty obvious. Our a is 3. That's our y-intercept or our initial value, and our multiplier is 2. That means every subsequent iteration forward gets multiplied by 2, and going backwards divides by 2. Now, just so you know, the next video is going to talk a lot more about asymptotes, but it's a really important thing. So we're going to start an exponential graph by putting an asymptote at the x-axis at y equals 0. Again, in the next video, you're going to see asymptotes that have been moved up or down. But just a reminder, an asymptote is like a fence. It is a line that the graph is going to get closer and closer to, but never quite touch. And this is a key feature of an exponential function. Most other functions don't have this. So the first thing we do after we graph that is we get that initial value, or the y-intercept, of 3. I'm going to put a dot at 3. Now, this is 3 above the asymptote, but it's also just at the number 3 right now. And then as we go forward, we're going to multiply by 2. So the next one would be this value, which is 3 times 2, which is 6. So my next dot is at 6. And every subsequent dot, I multiply the previous dot by 2. So 6 times 2 is going to be at 12. So my next point will be at 212. You can also plug in 2 and it'll come out to 12. And then my next dot would be 12 times 2, which is 24, which is a little bit off the graph, but I'll put it here just to show. Now, going forwards, we multiplied by 2, so going backwards, we divide by 2. So since this dot right here is 3, if you go backwards, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, so my next dot backwards is at the y value of 1.5. 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75. 0.75 divided by 2 is 0.375, and you can see we're now getting closer and closer to that asymptote. As we divide by 2, we're never going to hit 0 because we can always get smaller. So you should always put a couple more dots just to kind of show that you get the idea. But obviously after a little bit, they're all just getting closer to 0. Last thing we do, of course, is connect these. This is what an exponential function looks like. It curves up. I apologize for the line. It's hard to draw a nice one on this, but you get the idea. Your line on the left should have an arrow pointing to the left. Now this isn't flat, but it's really, really close. It's getting closer and closer to the asymptote, and obviously on the right side it points up very far. So that is it. We have graphed an exponential function based on its key feature.